Hello, happy end of 2015. I'm David D. Hilster, the current webmaster of the CNPS. JCNPS is just too long, so we have the Chappell Natural Philosophy Society. Great to have everybody here. A lot of people from our 2015 conference. Um, uh, Almost everybody except for Greg Volk, who have been very active in transitioning our organization. So really happy to have everybody here. I see the chat seems to be working. Let me know if it isn't. Again, I'm at my father's house. My internet, which is pretty speedy, is down. This one's a little bit more precarious, so hopefully it will all work out. But I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking here. I do have some slides to sort of talk about uh, the past and present and future of the group. And I must say that things are going really well. I'm very pleased to see so many people helping out to make this continue. You know, I'm sort of the internet guy and producer guy, so you may see me more, but definitely wouldn't have happened with a lot of other people. So let me start here so I don't talk before I get to slides and do the funky stuff here. But just talking about the past, just to reiterate, we have what I call the MPA rogue directors, basically out of control, mostly. We had a membership vote to remove those directors, and I believe there was over 200 members vote yes to remove them. Of course, they refused to act and even acknowledge the membership demands. I think one of them was even on one of our conferences, was asked the question directly by um, Mr. Strupit, who is here today, and as a paying member, and they refused to answer the question. Um, then, of course, we had the forming of the CNPS. I would like to say, I got an email from the MPA asking me about a specific thing, which was very strange. A book that I helped Barry Setterfield, a monologue. I don't know if it's a monologue, yeah, something like that. And it turns out that I saw a few of their emails. They seem to be liquidating. That's what I saw, which means, in my opinion, they may be heading for closing the organization. So don't know. All I can say is that I got an email, a few email exchanges. So that's interesting phenomenon. I'm not here to talk bad or whatever about them. I don't really care, but it is information, and I figured the group is maybe curious about that. Pretty much 95% of all of our active members have been moved, including Dr. Cynthia Whitney, who was the former MPA president. Um, at least I think that's what her title was. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not. All I need to do is to communicate that is in the database with some of the 800 people that the MPA had been involved with. If they log in or try to log into our site with their old login, the CNPS site, they will get greeted with a little opt-in or opt-out. They're not automatically included, but the opt-ins have been quite a bit. I think I've only had one or two opt-outs. So I know we're getting close. If you go to the website, and it's almost at 200, I think it's 190 something. Those are active members of this organization. So you can pretty much say that the MPA has moved to the CNPS. The idea that, you know, the MPA has any significant part of what used to be its membership is pretty much not true, just statistically. And again, I consider about 200 members to be the active members, with other, you know, as many, a couple hundred more. Again, Lou and Duncan and Nicholas and Greg did help out some. He's been a little less active, but has been 1,000% supportive. And we pretty much self-tasked ourselves to form the new organization based in Michigan. Lou and her son were the ones involved in getting all the actual papers filed. Like, her son is a lawyer. Duncan has been really gracious in helping word and help us with the documents itself. So the emails you see we send out for the organization, you'll see oftentimes his name there, because he's the one who normally drafts, because he speaks better, uh, how do you say, in those areas than we do. So he's been greatly helpful. And then of course Nick has been just super feedback. When we need feedback anytime in this group with any of our ideas, Nick has been and put more time into thought into, you know, an idea that Duncan has, or in a letter, and sometimes myself. So his feedback has been absolutely invaluable. And also, I want to thank him for the election, because he really was the guy who worked more than anybody in actually calling up and getting the great people we have lined up for the election. And you should have get an email with your ballot now of the 8 people. So I want to thank Nick for that. And of course, we purchased naturalphilosophy.org. It was almost $1,000 to purchase. .com was available, but it was way more than that. I think, again, that's a great asset for our group. It certainly makes no bones about it. World MPA, what it was before, was very nebulous. No one really knew what that was. So I think this group, if you look around the world, is and should be the holders of that domain. And that's, in the end, really what matters. So we have the community, and we also have the database. The World Science Database has been moved up 100% to the server. The server is not my server. I have my own dedicated server. There's nothing left on there that's for the World Science Database, nor for the MPA. So it's all on one server. The CNPS owns naturalphilosophy.org. It owns the domain register, login. It owns the server, which has been paid for another year. It also owns this Fuse, which was about $400 or $500 for the year. So there's no conflict of interest here at all. And the other thing I did was the worldsci.org. If you had any links from worldsci.org, and there are a bunch of them out in the world, including in Google, they will, as best to my knowledge, should hit into the database. So that is, if you have an old link to your stuff or to your profile, it should go to the database, dbnaturalphilosophy.org. So I tried to best programmatically make that transition. So those links should be feeding there. I know there may be some problems of updating that database. I'm aware of that, but with the millions of things going on, I just haven't had the time to get that squared away. Most important is there is no conflict there that some people were worried about. We also incorporated as a nonprofit in Michigan, and of course many of you know we are now controllers of our own destiny. If we don't like the directors, we can remove them. So obviously that was a very, very important point. The other point was, we're not a 501(c)(3), there are some disadvantages to that, and we don't really use those advantages if there were there. So we have a different type of incorporation, which we've thought about, and that Lou and her son talked about that. The first conference was great success. It was held in Boca here, in Boca Raton. There's a university, the Florida Atlantic University. It actually has 35,000 students in a small town. Boca Raton only has about 200,000 in its incorporated area. We had people literally from the UK, Africa, Canada, and the United States. And we had pretty much about 10 or less attending. But it was a really, really wonderful conference. In fact, we all agreed that we'll probably never get all that time and all that interaction time ever again. So we kept saying that to each other, and I thoroughly enjoyed the entire conference, everything that went on there. I produced it. It could have been for 10 or for 100. It would have been okay. Financially, we ended up in the black. One big reason is we received a generous donation from Cynthia Whitney. We want to thank her, and that kept us in the black. But even without her donation, we may have been a little bit negative, but we actually have money in the bank. So that's really good. We have a new bank account, of course, and it's controlled by the current director, interim directors. We had the SciFlix Film Festival instead of the awards banquet, since we just didn't have people coming. It really has great potential. I want to thank Nick again, Nick Percival, for being the judge for that. We did award 5 films, and believe it or not, months and months and months later, I sent out those awards to the people, which were just plaques. And it was very touching, because there are quite a lot of films out there with the same problem that Einstein Wrong had. And I think this is a great potential. And my goal is to get somebody who's going to be in charge of that. Sciflix.org right now was done by myself and Bootstrap Productions. It's owned by me, but that could change. Would be very much looking forward. And it's easy to do because it's all done over the internet. All film submissions today are done over the internet. In fact, the film submission process and the registrations brought in about $400. So it's quite an interesting thing. There are films out already that people are asking to be nominated. Those people who make films in the fringe areas of science who don't get any attention. Same problem, different results. So that was very good. So overall, it was very good. We had a nice banquet. We had the guy from Andrew, can't remember his last name, but he's a sociologist who came and spoke, and he was very, very wonderful to have there, and was a great asset, and was not discouraged at all, and knew about our situation. So we expect next year to go further. The present, you just got your ballots today in the email for the election. We have 8 slots with 8 people. Yeah, we do have to go through the voting. We did accept any types of other nominations. I don't think we got any other ones. Nick spent a lot of time getting those people lined up. Those people are all in, and we have some absolutely amazing people on that list. I mean, Ron Hatch, very pleased to have him. Glenn Borkert, two people that I extremely admire. And of course, the other people, we've got some new blood in there. Jeff Bauer, not sure about his last name pronunciation, Jeff Bauer. And so we're really pleased to have everybody on that list. So very appreciative of all those people volunteering to be on the list and to give some of their time to this organization. We are getting blogs regularly. I really love, our most prolific blogger by far, obviously, is Harry Ricker. Thank you so much, Harry. I always enjoy your blogs. My dad and I are working on a book for particle model of the universe, and we are actually working on electricity as well. So, reading these things are wonderful. They do get indexed. You can search on Google and find them. Take a sentence in one of those and search, and they're there. How with time they should be going up. I have us listed in Google as a news source. I think it takes a while to get in there, but once we hit that, it'll be great, and we have all these articles there. So greatly appreciated. Everyone's invited. Write about your own stuff. Write how amazing it is. Put it in a blog every week. We're using MailChimp. We have over 1,000 scientists, less than 2,000 on the list. It's pretty much staying steady. We're not really doing any marketing. We're losing people and gaining people about the same rate. MailChimp is free for us as long as it's under 2,000 a day, and the mailing list is a certain size. Once we get to a certain size, we may have to start paying for it. But right now it's free. That's why I didn't send out 2 in a row, because we have a daily limit for free, which is 2,000 cents per day. We already have the conference in motion. I talked to a number of people. I have already dialogued with the University of Maryland. I've got the rooms. I've got all the things there. We're going to probably need a deposit, so eventually we're going to really have to start signing up. Please start signing up. What I really need everybody to do is, everyone sees these things are there. We have a way to say, I'm coming to see this um, um, this video conference on the website. And I know everybody doesn't want to log in and touch it, click on it. I know it works because I logged in as somebody else and clicked on it, and so there were 2 people. But we need people to sign up. Just sign up. If you're pretty sure you're going, it's not a commitment to anything, but at least put yourself that you're there. It's like, that's what they do on Facebook, interested or going. But please, sign up. If you're going to be in the proceedings and you have a paper, start signing up. We need to have an idea of how many people. We can't go to the University of Maryland and then 2 weeks before give them. We're going to have to, plan a little bit ahead. So make your New Year's resolution. If you are planning to be there in Maryland, please get um, get yourself signed up on our site, naturalphilosophy.org. If you can't get in, let me know. I'll help you get with your login. All right. So the proceedings are open. Those are there. And of course, we're on the holiday break before 2016. 2016, we'll have a new directorate. Voting closes midnight, December 31st. So we'll have the results then. And may have a write-in candidate we don't know about that wins. Who knows? But but we'll have the election will be done this year. Then we'll tally it and let everybody know next year how it went. Of course, we have the conference in July 2016. The dates are already there. We have the proceedings online, and we have a new system. It turns out my dad and I are writing our book, and we're putting his first book in it into a system that uses Latex. Latex is a language for editors. That's what you send to book places. People do PDFs, but it's Latex that really is when people do professional books. Well, there's a new site I will show you that I plan everyone to use. We will have to have a subscription to it, but it's so ample that, in fact, I forgot to talk about that, but hopefully I'll make myself a note here. My proposal is that system is going to allow the CNPS to be a publisher. And I'll show you some of that here. So yeah, publisher. So that's one of our goals, is for the CNPS to now publish books and the proceedings. With this new online system, it is just phenomenal. We'll have none of the problems with equations, none of the problems with formatting that we had for Word. We have a template that's quite easy to use. My dad's using it, and if an electrical engineer can figure it out, anybody can. So, and then I also like to propose a new committee, and I have some ideas of who can be on that. Okay, let me talk about my feeling about the CNPS and where it's at. And I've really thought about this a lot. And we're not going to survive without this membership. This membership taking time to do something to grow the organization. We can no longer just be an organization. We've been through that phase, the phase where everybody was meeting, the phase where we actually then grew, and now we've pretty much saturated those people who are in our area. So the membership is pretty much staying the same. I obviously know that because I see what's going on. Unfortunately, many of the prominent members have passed on. So many people have already passed on. And I mean, even, our assumptions guy, what was Neil Munch, just a wonderful person. He's already gone. Just so many people. When I look at my film in 2005 and I do that pan, it's amazing how many people are gone. So we're getting people, but we're just not growing. So so a new one only replaces what is being lost. A must, the membership participation in marketing the CNPS. We have to do that. I have some, we try to do it in a lot of different ways, but I do want to form a committee of people, ideas. I know I've got some ideas of who sort of the movers and shakers or the people in the group that are maybe younger, like the guy writing the book with Stephen Bryant. He's a young guy, very energetic, very modern, very wise. I really would like to have video conference and head up a committee for branding the CNPS. That's Wikipedia, social media, modernize it, work more on blogs, getting more people. A new wiki of science. I've built a wiki for us. I'm going to show that. And of course, Saturday morning video conferences, getting those back up. We've really hit so many of the people, and we're really just repeating a lot of what we've seen. I have some ideas for that as well. Okay, here's our current brand. This is what the world thinks of us. This is from Wikipedia. The Natural Philosophy Alliance, we're just listed right above it, which is the John Chappell. You can see that here. The John, I don't know if I have a pointer here. Is there a pointer? Let's see, is this a pointer? Click here to invite people now. Anyways, I don't know what you can see here. I don't even know how to get a pointer here. Anyways, don't worry. If you look through here, you can see John Chappell, Natural Philosophy Alliance. This is the story about who we are, because the John Chappell Natural Philosophy Alliance is mentioned only above this listed in a very small sentence that it broke off from the MPA. Here's the big parts. If you see, speculated, start there. Speculated in the 2012 essay that much of the interest in this area is response to the heavy mathematical content and abstract ideas underlining conventional scientific theories, which she says, Margaret Worth, makes them inaccessible to the general public. Well, my father, myself, and my mother went to see her on a book signing or a book thing where she had the Nobel Prize winner, the head of Caltech there. You've heard this story from me before. My mom wanted to get up and just smack the lady from some of the things she said, but one of them she said, oh, we have one of the people here. She called me the president. I wasn't. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Anyways, here, and what happens is they love science, these little boys and girls, and they can't understand the complexity. So they go off in their Lego land in their preschools and build the little models of the universe because they love science, but they don't have the capacity to understand this stuff. That's what they sell on us. And the reason she sells it is because, like even in anything in politics, they have their agenda to sell. That's not good. We have to change this. And then, of course, the last sentence is the most damning, and that is each concluded that the others were crazy. Watching presenters at the MPA meeting, and this was 2010 when we hosted it. It's the part in Einstein Wrong, the Miracle Year, my documentary. It was that year. Wortham comments, it was like watching 30 Jesus Christ. Now, this is not good. It's up there, and that's what people think of us. Now, it has nothing to do with religion. Obviously, the Jesus Christ means we're the savior of the world. But we have to deal with this. We have to be out there and fight this, not get out there and make a nasty fight. We need to do this in a positive way. We need to get a committee. This committee should be active in changing in this and getting this changed. If they want another opinion that's not us that changes this in Wikipedia, our committee, our goal is to get some journalist who's not in our group to come and see us and write say, this is not what the CNPS is all about. So this is a problem. This is what we are. Go to the internet, search on John Chappell Natural Philosophy Society. This is what you get. And they talk about why we broke up. The entire story is almost all of it's wrong. The only good part, and it says, at the peak, the NPA handled hundreds of members, blah, blah, blah. And of course, then we split up. It's dying. So the idea is they don't want us to survive. They're making us into a bunch of crackpots, each yelling from their pulpit. And yeah, if you go to a meeting, people do have different opinions, but that's not what really happens. We all know that. So it's really people who want to make that who we are doing that. We have to change it. We're not going to grow like this. Okay, what is it? Why do they say there's a bunch of Jesus Christ? I mean, just let's do a little analysis. There's a hidden assumption in mainstream science that consensus is important, that the universe has its laws, that something that made the universe said this equation is hidden. This is part of the program. This is E equals MC squared is there, and every intelligent being around the universe, if there are other planets with intelligent beings, we're all going to find those same equations. That's what they think. So the reason they say there's more than one Jesus Christ, the first thing is there shouldn't be more than one Jesus Christ. There should be only one. So their criticism is there's more than one, and they're laughing at that already. They're saying, well, the universe is only one thing. It's got universal law. That mainstream believes they're uncovering universal laws and equations. Yes, we have people in our group that say the same thing. That's fine, but our group is not that. They don't, the mainstream, no variations can be allowed because they're only universal laws. There's no cooperation between CNPS members, which isn't true. There's infighting between members. This is the perception. That's why they're giving us this moniker. This is their soundbite. We got to come up with a different soundbite. I already have one, but we'll talk about it. This is the part where I was talking about. I don't know. I made a separate slide for it. I already talked about it. It's too complicated. Children building their own. Nothing will come out of this CNPS. Margaret Worth is not an enemy, but she is certainly spreading things that are untrue about the group, okay. And she's spreading things that are untrue about science. So, not good. There's a
civil way to treat things.
Does somebody say something? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to mute everybody. Muted. We're okay. We're not getting feedback. So, oh, there's an unmuted one. Mute it. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So, what should our brand be? Here's what our brand should be. We need to fight against the Jesus Christ meaning, inclusive, first of all, inclusive regardless of professional background. In my film, after about 7 years, it took me a long time to figure out what is the difference between the MPA and all of the scientific organizations. And I came up with this phrase. It takes a little time to understand it, but it pretty much says it in probably the least amount of time I can. This comes from the fact that when somebody at the CNPS stands up in front of our group and talks, no one cares who they are. No one. You don't care if that person's got 3 Nobel Prizes. You don't care if the person lives under a bridge. Really, we don't. We're caring about, don't listen to me, meaning just because I'm a doctor of physics or mathematics from MIT, like a Dr. Cynthia, doesn't make her, what she says on the podium, more important than a person like myself who doesn't have a degree in physics. So the phrase is, don't listen to me, listen to what I say. And that is, titles aren't important. That's the first thing. We don't care. Secondly, inclusive of competing theories. We do. We have ideas and people argue about different things. Oh, there's ether. No, there's not ether. Gravity is electric. Gravity is not electric, etc. We also need to support dissident thinkers. We don't promote critical thinking, especially in the young. I don't think Luis Sarabon's here. I don't know. Let me look to see if he's here. He is the Brazilian who teaches in a city across the way in Niterói in Brazil, and he regularly has them watch the Cosmology Quest, which is the debunking of the Big Bang. And his students are tasked to look at the Big Bang, and if they don't include arguments against, they're not happy about that. That is, he's not happy with their result. So we don't teach critical thinking. We teach people to conform. So this group needs to change that. Also, what should we do? We should provide ample and interesting material to the masses. We're doing that in blogs. We're doing that more with blogs. We try to make it interesting. And when I see something come up and I have a strong opinion about it in the mainstream, like another idiot idea about neutrinos, sorry, that's my opinion, but I'll go ahead and talk about that. Or dark matter, which dark matter, of course, is the absence of a good gravity theory, because of the gravity theory, you don't need dark matter. Like my father's idea of gravity and his model for gravity, dark matter is not needed. So we need to be a fighters for variety and scientific thought. So those are some of the ways that we need to look at as branding. What do we have now? We have the membership blogs. We have the community website, which is not being used. We have very interesting email list discussions being lost forever. I've been on this kick for so long. How do we expect people to join in and become members of our organization if we have these long email lists, which I watch go on and on and on, that are never recorded, that the public can't see, can't watch, and it's incredible stuff going on. You know, I don't know what to do there. I mean, I try to make it as easy as possible, but like I said, I'll be very honest. This organization in 2016 has to take it upon itself to go forward and spend time on marketing itself. And I'm not talking everybody getting out their pens and writing, making logos and t-shirts. And no, there's a lot of different things all of us can do. But if we continue to just simply be egotistical in our own endeavors, we're not going to grow science, and that's okay. If this group wants to simply be a place, a haven, and we don't care about if anybody hears anything we say, we don't care if there's any science isn't advanced in any way. If that's what this group wants, then great. Get yourself a president who wants to do that. But I personally, I can't take it anymore. I can't take knowing kids don't know or even consider that the earth is expanding and has been. I mean, it's ridiculous, not to have these kinds of concepts that seem so obvious in science to us that aren't in mainstream. So we also have the largest online database of dissident science in the world. There's a guy who sent an email out to me recently that has like 8,000 scientists, but I said, where did you get all your information? He goes, from your database. So we do have the largest there still. It's not been growing very much. That's another effort. So what to do to help the group? Here's some of the things that I have listed. Each member should think about seriously commit some time to helping the group out. What can you do? Write one blog a year. Okay, write about your stuff. Everybody wants to give a paper. Everybody wants to put it in the proceedings. Today and age, I heard online that 1 out of 10 abstracts and papers are read on the internet. 9 out of 10 are never read by other people other than people immediately around them. We put them in the proceedings, we put them on these websites. Other people, we may get one person to read it, 2 people to read it, nothing. You write a blog about what you're doing, people will search it. It's in WordPress, our site. You can check it out, take any of our blogs, and in a very short time, take the last 4 from Harry, go into Google, take a sentence out of there that's like 5 words, cut and paste it in. Guess what'll come up? The blog article. That's going to come up. Your paper's not going to come up, unfortunately. That's stupid. It's dumb, but that's the way the world works. We can sit there and say how terrible that is, but that's true. So write a blog. Any paying member has their own blog on our site. Okay? Recruit a new member. How many people here have brought in a new member to our group? I have people at work who we have lunch every day and talk about physics a lot. Recruit somebody you know, get them interested, get younger people interested. Join a subgroup, gravity, ether, structures, expansion tectonics. We'll talk about that a little bit. Take time out each week to add to the CNPS wiki. Yes, we go to Wikipedia, you read about the Big Bang. There's nobody talking about how the Big Bang's wrong. The way they talk about it being wrong is not the way we talk about it being wrong. How can all the students in Luis Sauerbon's class, all those Brazilian young minds, how do they find out about our work of debunking perhaps, or other ideas of like an eternal soup. How can we do that if we can't go to the Wikipedia and add, for instance, get this, in the Expanding Earth Wikipedia, last week I put in the most prominent person on the planet, Dr. My names are slipping. Who's the guy from James Maxlow? I put him in as the prominent people. They said prominent people. I put it in. A day later, they removed it. Why? Who's doing this? This guy is by far the top guy in this, and this is the Wikipedia's Expanding Earth thing. They don't put, they take out the most prominent guy. Who's doing that? This is what people call in their Gestapo or whatever. Fine. Then, that's the way it is. We need to make our own wiki. We can copy most of it over, put that there, but add him. We'll make our own. Outreach and Branding Committee. This is the committee that I would like to start. We're going to help the CNPS with content on the internet. We're going to work with Wikipedia. If they do not take our word and the modifications that the CNPS is not a bunch of Jesus Christ, and that's a misrepresentation of what it is. If, for instance, let's say they reject that. I'm sorry, you're from the organization. This is a third party. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to go out and search for a third party. We're going to contact as many blog writers and science writers as we can, invite them, whatever, and have them make that. We'll get the article written, but we have to have a people in this organization working on that. Correct the Wikipedia information. Help in the search for celebrity interest. This helps. Looking at politics, I saw Bernie Sanders, who's a guy I like, being interviewed by a guy. His name is Killer Mike. He's a rapper, a black rapper from Atlanta. He did probably the best interview of Bernie Sanders ever. He extremely bright. You know what he said? Oh yeah, I watch all these Carl Sagan. My friends think I'm crazy. I like all this science stuff. We can approach some of these guys. He's very open-minded. Who do we approach? If we can get some celebrity interested in supporting thinking outside the box, then great. But this is something for a committee to look into. Help a local, host a local startup. My dad and I started one here, but we got so busy with our book and the hackathon, we put that aside for now. But that does work. We had people interested, and of course recruiting, just getting out there and doing recruiting, branding it, getting a poster. We don't have we're on the internet. You're on Facebook. Hey, join our group. We have a John Chappell Facebook page. We have a John Chappell Twitter page. Now, those who you are older, if you think that Facebook and those things don't work, think again. That's baloney. So we need to have an active group doing this, and I'll be happy to head this committee up. Video. Let me tell you about the video conferences. I'm coming up on 13 minutes before 11 here, so I'll be done by then. Here's my feeling on the video conferences. We have pretty much saturated, except for a couple people, the new people like Jeff Bauer, for instance, and his work with general relativity, which is quite interesting. He gave a paper at the last conference. Young mind, really brilliant guy, full of energy, but we can talk about these, things that we've rehashed and rehashed and rehashed. And I think we've been talking to each other enough. We have to part on something different. I'm not having 17 people, send me. I announced video conferences months ago. I have not, except for Bill Lucas. I keep sending emails. We can set that up. That's fine. We still do that. We'll still happily do that. But we're actually sort of running out of things. And I'm thinking we have interest and we have groups talking about it. We have huge amount of people still talking about relativity. We have a subgroup, structures group that's been working under the covers, under the radar for quite a while. I would like to force these people. Expansion tectonics, which I love, it's one of my areas I really like, and gravity my father has been doing for many, many moons. He's taken a well-needed break from that. But we should probably be scheduling every 2 months a relativity video conference, every 2 months of structures and expansion tectonics, for two reasons: for people interested to get together, talk about it. Well, three, second, to cooperate with everybody, and third, to get people interested in that area. If you've never looked at what structures is all about, you might, I don't, yeah, you can pop in on. Next thing you know, you may be interested. And having these regular meetings with interest groups fosters cooperation and all that. Of course, I'm not sure. We have a couple people, I think, that said maybe be able to host those, but we would have to have somebody. We don't even need to do anything. I mean, you can just say relativity and then maybe put up a slide or put up a whiteboard, and everybody's gonna, we got so much discussion going on. So anybody who's interested in heading any of these groups up, then that would be great. Another thing, like the films, I know Nick Percival worked on the sci-flicks this year, but it certainly would be great for somebody to take that over from me. It's real easy to do. I have everything electronically set up. Even getting submissions from all around the world is automatic and easy. You can watch everything online. Anybody can be part of this. You can do it from anywhere in the world. We can see the films online because they submit digital copies of that. So that's something we're very. I would be very pleased to have someone come on and sort of take that under the shoulder. If you like films or media, that's a lot of fun. Easy, not hard. I like to do interviews. I have the Dissident podcast. If you have not gone to dissidentscience.com, that's mine, listen to the podcast. We talk to interesting people. I had a couple with Nick Percival. I'd like to interview more people. I can do that. Like I try to do those on Friday nights. I can interview from anywhere in the world over Skype, and it's digital quality. I edit it. It's got soundtrack. It's got music. I use the music from my movie because it's very appropriate for this group, and to have the podcast. The podcast is listed on Apple iTunes podcasts, folks. We're out there. We just got to do more. So that's something somebody can take over. And then, of course, volunteer to help with the conference. Okay, I'm going to do demos here. I'm going to try to share this. If you can't do it, go to this on your own computer. It's there. So let's, I want to demo a couple things before we turn this over to open discussion. Let me share, see if I can share an app, I think. Okay. See if I can do this, folks. Okay, can people see this at all? Okay. All right, this is the wiki I put up. It's not based on the same software as Wiki. Wikipedia is based on media, Wikimedia or something like that. And I know very intimately how that works. It uses a MySQL database and it uses PHP. I'm an expert in both of those. My goal is not to recreate that right now. And Wikipedia has its own funky rules. It's got a lot to do for it to fill out. This is a Wikipedia based on WordPress. And so it's pretty easy. I've got the home here. And if you want to read what this is all about, take the time and read it. I mean, I don't want to go over it, but please take the time, go to wikipedia.naturalphilosophy.org, take a read on the home page. To give you an example, I took the world, what used to be what we call the Natural Philosophy Database, and everyone's in here. Who is here? Nick Percival. Here we go. Click on P, Percival. So I actually generated all this programmatically. John, well, you're not going to be in there, and then I'm going to lie. Oh, well. See, got a bug in it already. So we'll just pick somebody here. who else is here? Robert James E. Hilster. There you go. There we go. And I even generate from the database. Robert James E. Hilster is an American electrical engineer interested in gravity. Those are actually from his title, and I made sentences out of it that sound encyclopedic-like. And here's the CNPS entry. So if I click on this, it goes to the his database page in the, okay? So that's there. Books. These are all the books from the database. Put them in there. Um, experiments, theories. Here's experiments. Michelson-Morley, category experiment, Sagnac experiment. Theory. We have different theory: autodynamics, Big Bang, black holes, Circlon theory. James Carter. I think you may be here. Electric universe, expansion tectonics, general relativity, gravity, neomechanics, neutrinos. I try to put here everybody's kind of theories that I know. Here's some of, I think, what's his name's theories are here. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, but you can add your theory here, and then you put it in here, and then you write about it in an encyclopedic way. Models, we have there different models, ring ether model. Media, we have cosmology quest, Einstein wrong the miracle year. I put in my stuff, okay? But the idea here is we can put in theories and we can put in the Big Bang. So in the Big Bang, I put something here: the history, the challenges, alternatives, and resources. See, here's the summary. We talk about the history. We put in our vision of all this stuff. We don't just say it's necessarily wrong. We write in what the history of it, where it is, the history there, the challenges to it, alternatives, those kinds of things. This isn't in Wikipedia. We can't get it there. Same way with expanding Earth. We can go into expansion tectonics, which I prefer, put in here. Everything that is getting out of the wikis on Wikipedia Online. Now, if it turns out that this thing actually starts growing, then I can move all this moved over to a real wiki, meaning the same software that's used by Wikipedia. So that's pretty much that. So take a look at that. If you're interested in contributing to it, it's not open. That means the general public can't go in there for obvious reasons. So no, it's not censored. It's just that we get a lot of people who don't like us, so they're going to go in and do dumb things. So, okay. So anyways, you're seeing that. Good. All right, let's go to the second thing before I wrap up here. And this is the new, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. This is the new system. It's called sharelatex.com. Share Latex is an online system that will, if we subscribe to it, it's going to be $40 a month. That allows us to publish in a form, latex form, which is extremely efficient for publishing anything. Let me go to the files here. So, whoops, files. So sharelatex.com. Here's a paper, the Hilster 1 paper. The paper is in this file, and the paper 2 is in this file. Each person would get a folder. You get a login. I'd put in everything you need to fill in, like a template, and you come in here, and then you would come in here, and here's the abstract. You just put it in here. You want to index something, you can even index it. It will end up in a general index. Here's the authors. You just follow by analogy what you want. You put them here, and then what happens? This whole thing generates perfect format every time. Not only that, we have a bibliography, and that bibliography can be used by everybody. Here. So here's a bibliography. So this bibliography is the general bibliography, so that once we make a bibliography for your book or for whatever, it can be then referenced by everybody, and those things appear at the end of the paper. And then I made another one called, whoops, wrong place. So each person, like I said, gets a login. They get their, I will put everything you need in there, give you the template, and then you just go in and fill in your stuff. So you put in the abstract, and then you put in things like introduction section. Then you hit things like if you want to enumerate stuff, there's paragraphs. You can see I'm indexing the heck out of it. I put it way too many times, but it gives you an example. Then there's uh, the section, the facts. Here's another section. Here's an equation. Equations are come out perfectly beautiful in typeset form. Again, none of the problems. Believe me, it's easy. My dad's using it, no problem. You can see it come here. You can even draw with it. This is drawn by Latex. They have a thing for drawing. The figures, you don't have to put numbers. The figures, you just give it a name, and the reference numbers are all adjusted. And then you see the references come at the end. This is all automatic stuff. Very, very automatic. I will have a tutorial for this, but it's quite easy. I mean, basically all you do is put your paragraphs in here. You put your sections and subsections. You just put this ahead of it, CNPS heading subsections. And then we'll get from this the proceedings. So if I come here to the proceedings, I can just say recompile. It will compile the entire proceedings for us and give us not only just each paper, but a table of contents, like gravity and mass, Robert D. Hilster, Moose, Flocks, and McGillicuddy. Another one, so here's the first paper, then you go to the second paper, all that, and all the pages. It automatically generates that, and we can automatically generate an index. So if you come down here, you get an index. Gravity is on pages 1 through 7, lights on 1 through 7. I over-indexed it, but that means you can go through and index anything you want. It'll show up in the general index. So it's really great. It eliminates all these problems which we have with Word over and over. You can use any computer in the world that has a browser, and you can do anything. You can make your equations as beautiful, and again, we can help you with it, and we're not fighting things. Yeah, can you? Oh, okay. Wow, there you go. So that's what we're going to do for it. Oh, did you? Oh, I need to unmute you, huh? Oh, okay. My father just said he is willing, if you want to learn this. If you want, oh, first of all, if you want to learn it, well, first of all, we have to get approval from the, oh, that's not true. If you want to learn it, we have a free version right now. This is on a free version. If everybody agrees to this, I think we should. We'll spend the $40 a month. And what that means is that you can publish a book with us. In fact, I won't put that there, but let's see if I have that on the, no, I don't. But we have a book format that we're using from my dad in my book, and it's under the John Chappell Society, Natural Philosophy Society's publishing moniker, and we use the uh, the the uh, the P symbol in Greek, which is our logo, and that is so we can now publish books. This is amazing for books. If you want to publish a book, be a member of the MPA. We can help you with making it look great. And in fact, these diagrams, like I said, can be drawn. This one is actually drawn in a file. I'll show you a file for that. Lasers, particle water. Here. That diagram you see over here with it says stays in water and that blue dot, that's this, basically. Here, fill in a circle at 0 node. Oh, that's with the water. It's a circle, draw, fill it blue, make it 25%. The size is 2 centimeters, put its position. It's all graph based. Draw a line from here to here to here, that draws this line. Very easy to do. It's very easy to do, and it's perfect. So when you actually print that, there's no jagged edges. This is how books are done. This is called Tix picture. So very easy to do, quite easy to do. You don't need to do that. You can import pictures as well. You can see I have a picture of Yonel Deneu's underwater experiments in our last paper. So if you're interested in learning this system, you have a paper now that you want to submit, contact me. I'll get you a folder, I'll get you a login. If we get too many people and it gets bumped over, we'll start subscribing to it. But definitely worth the while. So I think that's pretty much it. I should stop sharing here. Should go back to the slide. Hello. Oh no, that's not the slide. What happened that somebody took the, how do I get this? Oh. There we go. Take this one down. Want to remove Carlos? No, I don't want to remove him. I want to just get him down. Okay. Anyways, that was my presentation. I've pretty much hit it. It's 11 o'clock here, and we can open it for discussion. Oh, then we're done? Hey, have an early day. Oh, John Nicholas Percival. Oh, that's Nick's in the wiki. So let's see, we have anything on the side here. David, I have 3 papers ready for next summer's conference. If you want to use the strawman for latex. Oh, right, Ray. Yeah, baby. I guess we're just going to subscribe to this. Yeah, Ray, it's so much easier. Believe me, it's easier for you guys. It's easier for us. It's just analogy. You guys are all bright and can follow the analogy for that. So yes, Ray, let's set that up. I will be here just to let you guys know. I'm still waiting for a visa to go to Brazil. It's not looking super great right now. My wife's already there. I'm supposed to be there for it with the family and her mom, who's 90 there in Brazil. But right now, Brazil won't give me a visa. Ele o recado Carvalho. Eles não estão dando visto para esse gringo que tem até presidente de escola de samba. But you know, that's the way it goes. So I will be here at least through the 22nd. If they don't give me a visa, I'll be here through the break, and I'd be happy to have any of you who have basically any papers that you want to get started. That would be wonderful. We can work out the kinks. But what's really great about it is you don't have to format squat. You don't have to worry about, oh, I just screwed up the format on the abstract. Oh, I don't have the title, because you literally just type it in, and it's between 2 tags, and that tag says abstract. So you don't care. You just put it in between there, and it'll come out right. The formatting comes out automatic right. References, same thing. You have a reference, put it in a bibliography file, and once we get this huge bibliography, you can start making references without having to type all those dumb references at the end if you've already referenced them before. So really great system. So great to have that on there. Helio's saying my Portuguese is better. Well, that's all right. Resolution new format. Okay. Very good. I want to find out about their myself in the wiki. Great. Yeah, if you are in the wiki, go in there and please take it out of first person. If you're in the wiki, don't say I did this and I did that. Change it to a third party person. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Ray, if you want to be anybody here too that wants to be in the video conference, let me know. We'll just start setting them up. We'll start setting them up in January. We own this. This thing can hold 100 people. It's really great. Fuse has gotten better and better. My dad's on an iPad, watching. You can be on an iPhone, an Android, any of those things, and participate. If you want to speak, let me know. Ooh, people are already leaving, so maybe it's over. Oh, I hear somebody. No? Harry Rickard, you don't want to say anything today? Wow. Bill Holler, Alberto. I'm looking back on the comments. Well,
so have you unmuted everyone then?
Yeah, well, it didn't unmute everybody, but I can. If I do that, though, you know what happens? I start getting feedback.
I was just wondering whether people were trying to talk and they weren't being heard or something.
Yeah, you have to either raise a flag. If you go on the very right, isn't it the right very bottom, Franklin, that you can go at the bottom and raise a flag, can't you?
It appears at the upper right-hand side.
Looks like upper right, because I have the master control one, so it's maybe a little different. So
And now
Hey,
Fuse is still a little bit different that we don't see like the full list of participants like we used to. So
yeah, I know. I think the reason is because so many people now use portable stuff that it's just more geared to that in general. So if you do want to speak, type in the side there or whatever. Um, but hey, Franklin, I was thinking, you're one of the younger, more active dudes. I'm looking for people for this committee. I'm looking for Stephen Bryant, maybe too, to really look into getting together and trying to do an outreach program and really list, have some big goals and really have a group that we meet maybe every 2 months to work on, growing this organization. It means everything, like, do we have information? Do we have slides that people need it? Is the wiki growing? Getting people who can write. We still need to get people outside this organization. If we can get third parties looking in and writing about us, we're going to get a better reputation so we can put that on the Wikipedia. It's not so simple as just going in and fighting those guys. So, anybody here that wants to be part of that committee, send me an email. I'd be happy to have you. You don't have to do lots of work, even if you have some good ideas. But we'll have that committee open to anybody to participate. In the sense, we'll announce it. But I'd like to have, put together some people for that.
yeah, somehow we have to get more for
David,
people to just even know who we are.
Yeah. Hey,
David,
that's
There's
a
Harry.
Harry Ricker.
how much traffic do you have at the site there? Like, is
I can't.
anybody looking?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely they are. I
I,
gotta.
I don't get any comments or anything. I mean, it's just like
Sure.
there's nobody paying attention.
No, people are there reading. I don't have statistics on it. One of the things is that's what the outreach needs to do. Is we need to get these things out there. For instance, one of the ways you do it is just even having them, people knowing that they can get it out there. A real simple way people do this today and age is Facebook. People who have Facebook pages, and we post to the John Chappell. What happens if you post your article on your Facebook and you've got a bunch of friends? Those things get around. I mean, I've done that, and I've gotten more attention on Facebook when I post the articles, and I have not posted all of them on Facebook, that I'll post them on mine or my film website, and I will get a couple times a week people liking those. I wrote the one on dark matter. It's been liked on Facebook quite a bit. So one of the problems is we all in the MPA, I got my dad a Facebook page, not because, he necessarily wants one, but that's where people are. And when you have friends and acquaintances, that's where people see your stuff. And that's where I've had a lot of success. So if you are here and you're a scientist and you want people to read your stuff, make sure you have a Facebook page, and make sure you are a friend of the John Chappell Society, the Facebook Society. I think it's Facebook/Chappell Natural Philosophy. And then we'll post it there. And if you write a blog, I've got so much to do. I don't always post them there, but we only have like 15 people who are liking it right now. But that's not what happens. What happens is the way it works is not that John Chappell sits around waiting for that Facebook to attract attention. The way it works is that you have a Facebook page. You go and make sure you like the John Chappell Facebook page. Anything that gets posted there, you will see. When you see that, you can share that and your friends. I do that. I have lots of friends who are just acquaintances who are not members of the MPA who like those articles and read them. So that's the way you do it in the networking. If we have 50 people in the MPA with Facebook pages and they're all, taking at least the ones that are interesting to them out there, then great. There's one for the expanding Earth people. There's one, they're out there. And so those are some of the things we need to do. And that's how you get them out there. And they are indexable, but it takes time. Unfortunately, we can't instantaneously do that. It's a chicken and the egg. If we don't have enough articles coming in, Google won't make it as news. So that's one of the things. They are getting indexed, but doesn't mean that people necessarily comment. Even the amount of people who read it and the amount of people who comment are huge. You're lucky to get 1 in 100 to even make a comment in general. So it's not that case. And the other thing is too is just traffic. You know, when they go to the community website and nobody's talking about anything there, and there are no you know, the whole thing is the number one thing about the internet is if you do not have fresh news, it dies. So, I mean, that's all I can tell you. It's a building up. We all have to do it. It works. It works. But everybody here, if you have a Facebook and you haven't liked us, then you should. And if you not only like us, take one of, if you like one of the articles from Harry, share it on your Facebook page. People will read it. I have a couple hundred people who are my friends, and they'll read it. People who like science. So.
Yeah, that is an interesting question about, you know, how you publish these things, and we really don't get any feedback. That's certainly the way I feel.
Yeah.
Although, you know, one of the things I've been doing lately is that, you know, I've been publishing on academia.edu, and at least there, you know, it'll tell you when people actually look or download at your paper to tell you where they're at. So you get kind of some idea that people are looking at your stuff.
Right. Right.
Although, you know, it does seem true that, you know, I've been pumping out a few papers over the past couple of weeks. And it's like, yeah, if I put out a paper, then, you know, people can see it, and it's getting referenced in like Google. So you can kind of see that you're getting hits that way.
Right. Right.
But
I mean,
that's something I've been trying recently, since I just published, you know, a recent paper like the magnetic field, how electrostatic field works.
Yeah,
Which
I
were
saw that. I
basically
read
just
it.
papers that were just sitting on my website, you know, but I just formatted them. So
Well,
maybe I'll
what you
have to
need
try
to,
out your new
Franklin,
Latex
what you
system.
need to do is write a blog about it, just even if it's an introduction and point to it. We send it out. One of the, like I said, we got to get, you know, one of my goals for 2016 is to get every prominent CNPS person to have a Facebook page, everyone, and everyone to have their blog. And what you need to do is if you write a blog, this is the way it should be working. Everybody should have a Facebook page. You write a blog about this, your um, electron. See, I read it. Your electron. So you write about that. And then that gets sent out to over 1,000 scientists around the world. Those people should say, oh, I enjoyed that. I'll put it on my Facebook. I'll share it. That's what should be happening. If we do that amongst ourselves, we're going to attract more attention. You know where I get a lot of people onto my website for my movie, which is still alive and still going? I go to the Albert Einstein and I say things like, folks, it's not general relativity that's bending light, it's coronas of suns. Or Albert, we treat him, and I do it in a way that's not nasty, but I said, you know, we got to give up, stop worshiping Albert. He's just a person. He was a scientist. He may be wrong, and if he was wrong, you know, guess what? People read those, and I get, just from going onto Facebook, onto an Albert Einstein page, making some comments, they go look me up and find that, oh, he's got that Einstein wrong. They go there and I get another like from my movie. And then I have my movie online that you can, for $3 rent, and for $10, you know, yeah, it's not doing gangbusters at all. Yeah, it's not making money, but I mean, those are the ways we do this. So frankly, I would say to you, you've got a paper, you've got 1,000 people who are going to get an email about it, and you haven't taken advantage of it. You can take advantage of that. Bill Howell, do you have a microphone? Did you want to speak, or are you just typing in? I see you typed in there. Glenn Borkert is a co-author of Beautiful Paper. Any comments? Unfortunately, I don't get these stupid icons. Don't tell me who's who. So you should be able to unmute yourself if you wanted. Chaos Solutions Fractals. Well, Bill Howell, again, if you're our CNPS member, you have your blog, write about it, and it'll be out in the next one. You know, Harry and I are the ones that are writing most of those, so I try to write them, and I don't even have a lot of time. So, but Franklin, why don't you try to do that? Have you thought about doing something like write a blog about that?
Sure. I might as well do something like that since I've been busy kind of writing my papers.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll give me a kickstart to do some promotion, like you said, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I want to compliment you on the quality of the blogs were actually quite remarkable. I mean, these are great articles. How'd you get people to write those, right?
Well, no, Harry is a very good writer, and he's a sort of a big thinker. I mean, his stuff is always intriguing. I don't always write stuff. I try to write stuff. But here's another thing, folks. Simple as simple can be. Harry, you read his article. Well, put a comment down there and say, hey, Harry, great article. That's it. You know, I don't do that. I read the articles, I read it. But see, that's what we have, a system that has it there. I try to do that. So if you get an email, if you go on a blog like you, Franklin, if you read it, just say, great article, enjoyed it. That's it. And a person go, oh, I didn't go out in the vacuum. I know it's being read. I don't have counts on it. I can put in a program that can get us counts on that. But that can be a misnomer. It's very hard because if a person just loads the page, doesn't mean they necessarily read it. So please, people, if you read someone else's blog article and like it, just say you read it. You know, that's an idea.
Mm-hmm. Now the other
Hey,
thing that
Dave.
you mentioned.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dad.
Yeah, it's just me. Are we going to use the latex for the proceedings?
Yes, absolutely.
It can have an alternate PDF though, right?
Oh no, you can generate a PDF at any moment.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I volunteered for, you wanted volunteers. I volunteered to help people with latex.
Yeah.
If they use it. Now I'm using it. It's not as simple as David. It's simple for David. It's not as simple for me, but I have learned a lot on how to use it, and it does format the paper really well. And the graphics, if you happen to use them, are great, and the equations, as David said. So my name is out there. Just give me a call. I'll be the one. That way, David doesn't have to answer the questions.
But it isn't that hard in the sense that what you will get when you have a paper, for instance, Ray, you're going to have your 3 papers. I will put down a paper with, I'll give you a template and a login, and you'll log in, you'll have your folder, and everything will be there, and all you do is have to follow how it's done. So it's really not that complicated. We're doing a book. A book's a lot more complicated. So this is, just follow it. If you want a section, it's this. You want a subsection, you want this. And it's, like I said, it's completely indexed. We don't have to generate. On the side for us and as a publisher, the thing looks stellar. And like I said, you don't get in the problem of you just screwed up the entire formatting. And you spend, how many of you have been doing this in the Word and spend, what, probably 20% of your time, sometimes more, just on formatting. It's gone. Formatting there's no problems. It doesn't exist. It's automatically formatted. So. Okay, Franklin, you said something else. I'm sorry, you were saying, do you remember?
Yeah, I wanted to just, you asked about the NPA relativity Google Groups.
Yeah.
Because I've been, trying to solve this problem of these great email threads just get lost forever.
Right.
So, I have got that group set up basically kind of for myself, because I basically forward some of these emails to that group. Of course, anyone can do that, but I'm sort of acting like whenever I see something that's interesting, I will just go and forward that email into that group. Unfortunately, Google Groups, it's very hard to read the threads the way they have it set up now, but at least they're there. So if anybody wants to see the historical discussion, if you go to npa-relativity at googlegroups.com, you can see lots of interesting discussions. A lot of these arise from, there's a telephone conference that happens every Monday with Glenn Baxter. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah, we have a 2-hour conference that goes on every Monday. And if people are interested in that, they can go to the Glenn Baxter's website, which is the k1man.com website. And, you can listen to like hours and hours and hours of the conferences that we've had over basically like the past almost 2 years now, I guess.
Right.
So that's another resource for people who are interested in science. And, anyone is welcome to join our little group. I'm kind of surprised because it is completely open, and there's usually about 4 or 5 of us at any given time.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to talk to people about how, if that's something we want to integrate, but I think one of the things is that's very much Glenn Baxter, right? I mean, so
yeah,
whether that could be couched in the MPA in a more general way, I'm not sure. That's the only reason I haven't approached him to that, because his particular viewpoint. And when we try to do what things with the CNPS, what we try to do obviously is not to have somebody who's, you know, a group that's basically around, that's being not censored, but it's got a very heavy presence of a particular person. Again, that's not, I'm not criticizing, I'm just saying that it's very heavy-handed with Glenn's ideas too, and that's okay. And he does
Well,
allow it open.
actually, it isn't.
Well, if
Actually, I see
that's
that's the funny thing about Glenn's group is that, you know, we have like 3 or 4 people, and Glenn, he actually doesn't have very many particular
okay,
ideas of his own.
sure, okay,
So he's actually makes a pretty good moderator
okay,
because he's good at letting people speak,
hmm,
and you know, we have a diverse group, like we have Bill Lucas and
right,
myself,
yeah, I've listened to some of them. I've
and
listened. I've listened.
so I
So
think he
yeah,
actually does a pretty good job. If you have something that you want to talk about.
well, yeah, I think what we need to do is and see
Maybe
if
that's
there's a
something
way
I'll
that we can
blog about, right?
well, we can see if there's
Because
a,
it's just out there. It's just
well, I
out
mean,
there
it's
for
I'm
people.
not saying, you know, what I think what we need to do is listen in, talk to Glenn, listen to some of those, and I think that's one of the part of the committee's job is if we feel that that's, you know, pretty neutral and that he's just really, you know, monitoring, how do you say, moderating it, you know, and it's a decent forum. We could always incorporate it into the CNPS as a regular
David,
thing, but you know, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
David,
Yes, yes.
I got a couple more questions. One is I noticed that there's a Latex program that you can download. I saw that in the Progress at Physics site where they give you how is what what you were just talking about differ from that? Do you know what I'm talking about? I
Yeah,
didn't download
simple,
it, so I don't really know that
simple
much
answer.
about it.
Simple answer. It's cloud-based. That's the answer. So everything is not stored. It doesn't mean that you can't back it up, but everything's stored on the cloud. So that means when you uh, when when you
You
do
talking
this,
about the system that you're promoting or what?
yeah. No, the sharelatex.com was a godsend. It's basically allows multiple people to edit the same thing from anywhere, from any computer. You don't have to have a hard drive or anything. The only
Yeah,
thing I
that's
do,
similar to Google Drive. Okay, yeah, all right, go on.
and the cooperation works great. My dad and I are writing a book together, and it's just been fantastic. And the that means you don't have to download any software. It means whatever browser on whatever computer will work. The editors in the browser, it's quite good. It's got spell correction, the whole thing. It generates a PDF every time you want to see what it looks like now. You hit a button called recompile, and right in that window that you were looking at that I was showing you guys is the PDF, which at any time can be downloaded if you wanted to just look at it.
All
I've
right.
also
Okay.
taken
So
those.
I was just kind of, so you can still just, if you want to do it on your own computer, you could download the software and then do it there. But
Right,
this
but
is
you're going to have
a
to keep it.
cloud-based.
Well, not really. Let me tell you why. I have spent probably 20 hours of programming in the latex, or actually TEX language, to make the format match the format for the CMPS. Now, if you don't use the shared text and you don't use online, you're going to need to have those files in your system. And not only that, a lot of those files have dependencies on other files. So there's no guarantee that what you're going to be looking at or will even compile correctly unless you have all those libraries included. Now, if you do it on our site, you won't have to worry about them because I put all those libraries in there, including a bibliography. So as our bibliography gets huge, you'll be able to access bibliographies without ever having typed them in.
All right. Now here's my second question. I couldn't find this JCNPS wiki. How do I find it?
Okay, wiki.naturalphilosophy.org.
Okay. 'Cause, okay. 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 Okay.
And I know that you've participated in Glenn's group, some, right, Harry? I know, there's always arguments amongst people in the group, but is that something you think that could be part of the regular CNPS, or do you think that should stay independent, or what?
I don't really,
You don't want to
Glenn
put
and
your
I sort of had a falling out, so I think
Oh,
that
okay,
I'll
okay.
just
I don't
leave
want
it
to
at
put you on the
that.
spot. Okay, gotcha. I won't put you on the spot. Understood. Okay. But no, I think the share latex is absolutely great. I mean, it allows. I think the most important thing, and the reason it's really doing well, it's based in the UK, is because of the shared part. When you're doing a proceedings and doing this, in fact, I was pushing them. I said, look, you need this feature, you need that feature. But the way it's going to work is I had to literally spend probably 20 to 30 hours programming to make a proceedings, because the programming aspect isn't well set up for proceedings. Most people use it because they just take their paper, they grab it from the AAA and put it in there and say, okay, there's a format, I fill in my stuff and it gets automatically formatted to this proceedings. Well, we have that for the MPA because I stole one and I modified it to make it look like MPA stuff or CNPS stuff. And then I had to write my own way to make that all integrated. And that was a pain. So we have all that, but what that means is anybody can help out with it. If you have problems with formatting your paper, I can go in there and fix your text from anywhere in the world, and it will compile again. And like I said, you're not going to have cut and paste formatting. The problem with Word is that you literally have these styles, and those things are hidden. So you don't know what the heck is behind that. And what happens in Word is you get what I call DLL and style hell. And what it means is you get styles on top of styles on top of styles. So the actual underpinnings of that thing, ask Greg Volk, made his life a living hell to try to put that together into a formatted thing and then numbered right. We don't have to worry about that at all. All the numbers change. The good thing is also you can index anything that you want to have it. In our proceedings, we'll have an index at the end. The table of contents is generated automatically. And for books, it's a dream. So if any of you guys are writing a book right now, we'll help you put it in, and our organization CNPS will be happy to put our name on it, just as helping you publish it. You can publish it any way you want because it ends up in a PDF file. I did it on Lulu, works fine because it ends up with a PDF file, which I shipped to Lulu. I printed out the book. It looked fantastic. It looked like it was typeset. So, that's something that I want everybody here to be aware of. I'll be happy to even help you take whatever you want if you want to reformat it, because if you don't have a good book format.
So, David, where is this going to be accessed from?
Any computer.
No, I'm saying, where do I go if I want to participate? Do I go to JCNPS website, or?
Oh, you want to be participating in the what? The proceedings or the
Well,
publishing,
I'm
or
just
what?
trying to, as I understand it, I guess there's a website you were talking.
ShareLatex.com.
Okay, sure. Now, but that's just the.
What you want to do is register under your name, because you got to do that first. Then if you want to be part of what it sounds like, because I think this is going well, the positive feedback I'm getting, and I know my dad's a total convert with this.
Well, everybody wants you to use latex now to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and just send an email to our interim group, Duncan and Lou and Nick and Greg, to get a preliminary okay. And if that's the case, then we'll subscribe to it monthly. And then that'll be best, because at that point, you just go register at sharelatex.com. And then for the CNPS account, where you want to get our formatting and stuff, you just send me an email, say, Dave, I want to be part of that. I make you a folder, and in that folder, you can start creating whatever you want. And the thing
Okay,
about
I got it. Okay, I got it. All right. Okay.
And then for proceedings, if you want to do a proceedings, I will make a folder for you. I will make you a share. That folder can be shared with any user of sharedlatex.com. I make you a person sharing that folder for you for that paper or papers or your book if you want to do it. And I can see it. You can see it. If somebody else wants to help you, like my dad, I can share it with him. He'll be able to help you out. And at that point,
I think I got the picture. All right.
okay. Well, I was explaining for other people because your electrical engineers get things faster. I have a
Well,
lot of respect for them. As much as I don't like them because I'm a software engineer and we're supposed to be arch enemies, quite fond of them. They're, in my opinion, some of the best CNPS scientists are electrical engineers. It pains me to say that, with knowing that my father and Harry are electrical engineers, but I have to admit it. Just joking, folks. But yeah, okay. So I will talk to them and get that set up because it sounds like we've got a number of people already wanting to do it. And believe me, folks, guaranteed it's going to make it simpler, your life so much simpler. Word can be thrown out. That thing is horrific for making books.
well, David, I want to thank you for filling me in on what you're up to.
Okay, good. Anybody else
And
have any questions? Because it sounds like people are saturated. There's no more questions or discussions. Then we can wrap it up early. Any more comments? I'm looking at the chat here. No. Duncan, are you still here? He's gone. Then I know I've lost everybody.
David,
Yeah.
this is Bill Lucas.
Hey, Bill. How you doing?
Fine. When you use latex, how
Yes.
does it work with equations that may fill a whole page?
It works wonderfully. It's a wonderful, latex is the language that, let's say, Bill, that you wanted to publish your book and you gave everything over and they were going to hand type it more or less. It'd all be done in latex. So yes, the equations are just absolutely wonderful. So if they get to be complex, you got to worry about sizes and things like that, of brackets and those things. Continuing on several lines, if you look up latex online, they have many tutorials on the mathematics. It is the language for mathematic books, so it's wonderful. And like I said, we can help you with any of that. And the thing that makes it great is that all you do is it's the minimal information to make it look good. And their systems, my dad's writing pretty complex stuff with summations and things like that. But it's just wonderful. So yeah, it handles that with like a charm.
So if you wanted to publish, for instance, on Kindle, where
Yes.
you might have for ebook different sizes of screens that people would be showing it on, and what you do with regular text is it reformats it to
Yes.
fit that device.
Yes.
So can it reformat an equation
Yeah.
and figure out where to break it?
That's a little bit more complicated, and I'm not sure that that's handled anywhere, because what happens, the way it really works software-wise, is that it gets translated into either a PDF or some other type of format for an ebook. Once it's done like that, it's up to the viewer, the actual Kindle viewer or whatever, to handle those kinds of things. So what happens is either that it's going to scroll or it will crunch it, but it's all dependent really on the viewer. It's not so much the language. The language basically will tell you if you want in your language to break it. Let's say your equation goes, it's wider than a page. Well, yeah, wherever you break that, it's going to be broken. If that itself becomes too long, there is no real, unless they have super smart browsers that know how to split that. You're at the mercy of the Kindle. And I'm not sure, that's not really, the only thing that you write into the equation where you break it is that you know that you're going to make that break. And so that, let's say in a Kindle, that you break it and it's into 4 lines. Let's say the Kindle, they make it bigger and those 4 lines don't fit. They're going to wrap those 4 lines in whatever way that is. And normally those are pretty stupid. But if you know that you want it to be read on Kindle and all those, and you want to break it, you can break it. And so when you watch it, look at it on a Kindle, it will be broken where you said. But you can't make a super long one and then just hope it'll break it in nice places. So
Yeah,
to
that's what
answer
I've been noticing for
Yeah, no,
Word.
I agree. I can understand that. But what I would do is just, since, like I said, I think seems to be a way that people are liking. I will just get permission and get the CNPS with a full on, subscription that allows us unlimited people and that stuff. And I can get you into a place, get you started, and you can just try those things out and play with it. You can then generate a PDF, which you can look at right on a Kindle right away if you can look at a PDF. So Absolutely. So you can take a look at that and experiment with that. But it's the best out there. To put it simply, Bill, this is the language used by all publishers. So if you were to go to professional publishers, they would do it, and they'd have the same problems. They would just say, "Hey, Bill, break it where you want it. After that, it's up to the viewer." And they're pretty stupid when they break those then in those pieces. So hopefully they'll break them in a decent way.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, no problem, Bill. And Bill, did you want to do a talk still? Because I know you've been asking about that.
When you get organized, I have I generate about 4 or 5 interesting talks a year, and
Okay.
so it depends a little bit on the category or the theme of that particular one. But I'd be glad to
Okay.
give some talks.
Okay. Because I noticed you had contacted me. So we'll work on that. And then in January, we're going to start scheduling this. If I travel to Brazil, I won't probably get much done. But if I unfortunately stay, then I'd have some time. And I'm looking for that. And also, too, feel free to write blogs about stuff, Bill. We're totally open. So it's
Yes,
also available.
I'm the
Yes.
head of Common Sense Science is
Sure.
having health issues and is stepping down, and I'm having to take the leadership there.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm very interested in seeing what you're planning for the year. And I also took a course by Steve Harrison called the Quantum Leap Program.
Right.
Tells you how to promote your organization
Sure.
and get wider and wider dissemination,
Right.
and how to generate some income from the activities that you do.
Sure. Sure.
Uh,
Sure.
so that's something that uh, might be of interest. But each organization has its own
Right.
unique
Sure.
goals, I guess you would say. And
Sure.
so,
Yeah, this organization, if you look at where it stays solvent financially, is during the conferences, especially in the proceedings. That's where the conference charge we have, which isn't very big compared to other conferences, we're very low, and also the proceedings per page. Those things really, and we do get some donations from some of the members. So we have been okay in those areas. I mean, nothing to affect that we can actually hire people, but even to pay some. So it's more on our side how we can get the word out. And I see how it works, and I'm seeing it work. It's just that, our members just don't understand that having a Facebook page actually will, and having friends on Facebook, those things actually do snowball and help out. So, what we do is we need to have a campaign. And, one of the things that worked really well was having Nick Percival when we were, and my mom also did it, was to call up people and actually make phone calls and just say, hey, hello, do you have oh, this is so-and-so. And we did that. We called almost well over 100 people in the CNPS, and had my mom just call them personally to tell them about the conference and just to stay in touch with them. So these kinds of things help. And then we can, when we do that, we're going to do that early next year again, call all the members by phone, talk with them, and say, hey, do you have a Facebook page? Hey, you're doing something, you don't know how to, you have your blog set up, etc. Those kinds of things. So just reaching out and touching those people. So. But yeah, maybe what we can do is when we have our committee, Bill, maybe invite you, and you could speak a little bit about some of the techniques that you learned, to help out.
yeah, I'd be glad to share. And uh, the there's you were talking about branding,
Right,
and one of the things that you need to do for like branding is to determine what your organization's distinctives are,
right,
so that
exactly.
and that people like and want to continue, and that
Right,
helps a lot to figure out what to do next.
right. And that's one of the things we want to do in the committee is to what is that brand? I mean, what is it? We know what attracts people to us, but we got to package it. And then, I mean, stupid things like on Facebook, when you make these graphics and you put something there and a saying that is catchy, that gets your mind thinking about science, and say, and then, oh, you're interested in that? Click here and see, and then it leads you to that. And those kinds of things work today and age. So Yeah, absolutely. And so you're on the same page as. Okay, anybody else? Anybody else have any comments? I've been reading them off here. Have our mailing address removed from our membership page. Paulina, your membership is not listed any of the addresses. You can make those private. When you see it, if you're logged in, you see it. If you don't want them there, you can you log in and make those not available. I see them all the time because I'm the guy who edits this stuff. So yeah, if you obviously don't want to be there, um, that should be taken care of. Send me an email and say, hey, get that off there. I don't know, I'm not being able to edit that. But you should be able to go and say edit, and then there's a privacy setting, who can see it, members only, nobody, private, that kind of thing. Could be. Yeah, the other thing is too, unfortunately, browsers do what they call caching. And so even when I edit a page, it will remember old pages. So what you want to do is go to your cache on your computer and remove, clear the cache on your browser. Cache is spelled C-A-C-H-E. And unfortunately, websites will cache on the server, which is even worse. So that means they will save your page so that it'll load up fast. But when you edit it and change it, it will often display what was there old-wise. So the wonders of the internet. Well, listen, I'm really happy with the turnout. I want to thank everybody for coming. I will stop our recording here, and please get in contact with me. I will get the Latex subscription as soon as I can this weekend, and would love to have people. I think people are going to like that, and that will certainly stimulate. And write a blog, make a Facebook page for yourself. Get your word out. Today and age, those things work. Thank you so much. I'm stopping the recording.